Good morning, everybody. I hope your Monday started all fresh and well on this beautiful Monday here in Johannesburg. I'm not sure about the rest of the country as to the weather. Hopefully, you're enjoying it. I've got Daryl Marie on the line with me, and I've got Darren Burrows, and we're going to talk about the Hollywood Bets Gravel race meeting today. We're starting up with race number 1, coming off a superb Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas weekend. Some fantastic racing and quality horses on the weekend. Let's go to Darren Burrows in the first start of the bipod. Darren, good morning, and what do you like in the first?
Good morning, Clyde. I thought the horse to beat is Head Girl. Now she's very speedy, and I just get the feeling this Polytrack Quick 1000 is going to suit her down to the ground. I think she might just get away from them and stay onto the line. So I'm hoping she can just keep her head in front and finally break that maiden at the 11th time of asking. If you're looking for dangers, numbers 1 and 2 look the nearest rivals, but I really believe Head Girl could finally get it right.
Okay, so maybe we start with head girl Daryl Marie. Good morning. Are you on the same page?
Morning, Clyde. I just want to say to the viewers, we've got a week to get back on track, make some money for Christmas. Hopefully, things turn for us this week. Yeah, very late scratching, Clyde. It's just come through this very minute. Number 2, dressed to the nines, and the reason why I went four runners over here is I thought Dress to the Nines and Head Girl could cut throats and they could set up for the race for others. But now that Dress to the Nines is scratched, I think Head Girl should get it quite comfortably up front, and I do make her the filly to beat. Um, Quintasia, she held Dress to the Nines, but that's now scratched. She gets the blinkers and she comes back in trip. I think she will be a factor. And then Grecian Palace have done a few headgear changes for her, and she'll be staying on in the latter stages. But with Dress to the Nines coming out, I do believe Head Girl could be the right one, Clyde.
Okay, so everybody's on head girl now that we've got the latest news and the latest scratchings. It's the start of the bipod. Let's take a look at what we're doing in bipods today. There's the information from Daryl Marie. In the first leg, you got a few horses. Then we're bankering the 5 later on in the fourth leg. So make a note of that. And at the back, we're going just to the 2 runners at the back, 3 and 4. Time now for the second race. Let's get our place accumulators on. We need a shot of courage here. Another day in Africa. I'm not sure where it ends here, Darren Burrows, in terms of the place accumulator. What are we doing here?
Clyde, to me, it's a field race. I think all the runners have a chance of winning. Now, Shot of Courage, he's really come well. I mean, he was battling to win a maiden at one stage, and now he's just becoming very consistent. He's got 4 kilos off his back once again, one draw. He's got speed. I think he'll be in the top 3. But when you're looking for dangers, Trafalgar Square, another day in Africa, even a horse like Drogarati, Majorca Palace, all got chances. Even Drogarati is best over 1,000 meters, and I see Richard Fourie is now in the saddle, so he's got to come into the play.
All right, so a few from a place accumulator point of view, and from your perspective, Daryl, your side?
Clyde, I just want to touch on 2 form updates before dissecting the race. Number 4, Get Carter, ran 5th out of 5, beaten 7.5 lengths behind Cavalieri. And number 7, War Empress, ran 5th out of 7, beaten just under a length behind Vision to Achieve. Yes, Clyde, to make this a field race, I went 3 runners in the PA. I'm hoping I get through. Um, a lot of course and distance specialists over here, Clyde. A lot of runners back on their preferred surfaces, being namely number 1, Shot of Courage, number 5, Trafalgar Square, and number 6, Another Day in Africa. A lot of collateral form line. I don't know what to make of it. All I can say is Trafalgar Square without the blinkers on, Clyde. Over this course and distance, he's very effective, and his 2 runs without the blinkers in his penultimate start, and when he won, beating Mallorca Palace, puts him in with a huge shot of here. So I just hope I get through this leg of the PA.
Okay, we'll watch Trafalgar Square quite closely. Let's take a look at place accumulators then. Here we go, guys. Our PA for this Monday afternoon. There it is on screen at the moment. It's a 432 Rand, as you can see. Again, just in this particular case, we've got the one banker that comes up in the third leg where you can bank a number 5, but they are loading up with horses all the other way around. Well, now it's pick six time. Let's get our pick sixes together. The third race on the card here at Hollywood Bets Greyville. In this particular event, Daryl Marie, I'm going to come to you first. Talk about, do you think Gareth Van Zyl, maybe they can make up after the last race at Kenilworth on Saturday, the 9th race? What do you think? There's a chance here.
Clyde, yeah, I believe you weren't happy with her ride. But anyway, we're back at Hollywood Bets Greyville. Yeah, she's extremely well bred, Chichi Castanengo. And when I originally looked at the final fields, I thought she was a racing certainty. But then I went a bit deeper, Clyde. My concerns are she's on poly for the first time. It's a faster surface. She gets out of her ground and she does her best work towards the end. But she's so well related. I mean, she's a half sister to the July winning Bulgarian, and she should love the step up in trip. All depends on how close she is to the pace, turning for home, and hopefully she's not out of her ground because I do make her one of the live wires over here. I give her main dangers. I make her main dangers as number 2, Wonderful, and number 11, Darmondia. Now, take note of number 11, Darmondia. This track and trip, she's at her best, and the cheek pieces are not fitted, Clyde. They are removed this morning. So she will improve on her later start because that was on the turf. And number 2, Wonderful, Clyde. If you actually watch her latest replay, she was caught wide throughout and her dam won over a mile. So I think she will improve on what she's showing to date. She is showing steady improvements and progressing nicely. So I think it's a race in 4, numbers 2, 4, and 11.
Okay, so we got all those in from Daryl Marie. Mr. Burrows, let's get a summary from you on the opening leg of the pick six.
Clyde, for me, Diamondia, the horse to beat. I think back on the poly, everything in her favour. You know, she was a very unlucky loser in her penultimate start behind Last Ginger. She is drawn out deep. She likes to do her best work late. I can see her and the favourite Chichika Stanengo coming from off the pace. Hopefully there's a decent pace on and they can be slicing through the field because I thought it was a 2-horse race 4 and 11.
Okay, so those 2, 4 and 11 from your perspective. Thanks very much to Mr. Burrows for that. Pick sixes, guys. Let's have a look. What are we doing in this? Are we recommending a pick six? We certainly are. Darren Burrows has worked it out for you over there, and there we go. He does only 1, 4 and 11 in the first. He's bankering the 5, and then we're hoping that we get results after that. Right at the back, we've got 2 and 3. Not an easy card, as you know. These are tricky cards. Most of these races, these handicaps, they're not easy to figure out. So you know what? You don't have to spend 400 Rand. You can spend 40 Rand. It's entirely up to you, but let's get a piece of the action. All right, Darren Burrows, let's talk about race number 4. This is your banker of the day, Dean Canamay. I know you are quite close with the yard and you get information, all that sort of stuff. And they come into good, well, they've been in good solid form, I would have thought, and holding their own, etc. This horse does look like the right one, right?
For me, Clyde is a banker in all bets. You know, he's got a decent draw. He can just position himself a couple of lengths off the speed. And I was impressed with that last run behind Nightjar because I think Nightjar and the second runner in that race could be above average. His run before that was second to Hiawatha Goldberg. They also pulled clear that day. And this is the right type of company to exit the maidens.
Okay, yeah. With nothing from that form line's run yet, so it could be absolutely anything, Daryl Marie. Fire Flare, you with it?
Clyde, I'm 100% in Darren's camp over here. I think the first three horses past the post last time out are going to win their races. Um, they have met in the past, Fire Flare and King's Island. Now, King's Island is a good few kilograms better off than Fire Flare on that run. But Fire Flare was only having his second start, and I do believe he's improved markedly since then. So he is going to confirm that form despite the turnaround in the weights. And Kings Island holds Campton. So I'm not looking past this favourite. I think he'll take a power beating despite it being a maiden handicap. Clyde, one that could improve on what she's shown to date is the filly, and that is number 8, Hermana Sunrise. She's by Pomodoro out of a Western Winter mare, and she's now been stepped up in trip. Her form is moderate to date, but she should appreciate the extra. I think a damn one over a mile, and being by Pomodoro, I think she's bred for this sort of trip, if not further. So I'm going all in of year. Number 5, hard to beat, Fire Flare.
Okay, hard to beat Fire Flare. Thanks, Daryl. We'll put up our play now. And now that you guys know that both of our tipsters are on to Fire Flare, Daryl Burrows and Daryl Marie, both of them on to this horse. And that's the one to play. Remember, there's a jackpot opportunity here, so you can bank at the 5 with the rest of your jackpot. All right, guys, let's get on to race number 5 now. Talk about all the action here. Paul Lafferty comes into the race with quite a strong hand here, Darren Burrows. 2 horses that must have some serious claims. What do you think?
Yes, Clyde, I've actually put the field in this race. I thought it's a very tricky race. Eventador could bounce back. Bayview Express, in and out form, but on his day's got ability. Just for V Penny, horses like Attaboy, first run out the maidens was a good effort. Richard Fourie takes the ride. Master to be not out of it on best. So I thought it could produce a result.
I thought Attaboy, you're quite right. Maybe Attaboy could be one of the horses that they've got to take very seriously. Yeah, Mr. Marie, your summary?
Yes, Clyde. It is a tricky event. Attaboy's never run on the surface before, and we don't know how he's going to go because he does tend to come from off the pace, and you want to be closer to the pace on the poly track. But in saying that, Clyde, I thought his later start was very encouraging. Since he's been gelded, you can see he's shown progress in each and every start. And if you have a look at his breeding, he's damn one over 2,000 meters. So he should love the step up in trip. Last time out, he wore the tongue tie for the first time. That's his best effort to date. And he's going from 4 kg apprentices to Richard Fourie. So this horse should, if he loves the extra and acts on the polytrack surface, I think he could be the right horse of that, there's no doubt. But let's see how he goes, because there are a few question marks, and that's the reason why I haven't banked him. Number 4, Eventador. His later start, he should have finished a few lengths close. Well, a length, maybe thereabouts closer, because Muzi looped them on the outside with just for the penny, and Eventador got cramped for a few strides. And when he switched to the outside under Craig Zaki, he really knuckled down well, and he was doing his best work in the latter stages. So I thought that was a decent effort on his behalf. So in a tricky event, numbers 4 and 8 are my top 2 choices, but the race certainly doesn't stop there.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So Attaboy could be the Shruti, as you've heard. Let's take a look at selections then from the boys here for this particular race coming up. We'll put those up for you now, and you can see we've got a jackpot from Daryl Marie. He's gone 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 by 1, 3, and 4, by 1, 3, 4, and 9, by 1, 2, 6, and 8, by 1, 4, 9 at the back. Okay, what we're going to do in a race like this, Rodriguez, Bonsai Pipeline, there are a few in here, Mr. Burrows, that must have some sort of chance.
Clyde, this race looks pretty open. You've got Izapa. Now he's a horse with ability on his day, and he's back on the poly track where he won in his penultimate start, beating Banner Bridge. That was over 1800. He went from start to finish. This is a 1700. Calvin Habib. I just get the feeling this is the right type of company once again, and he's 7 or 8 to 1. I thought a nice each way bet in his Zappa. I made the danger Banzai Pipeline, Richard Fourie back in the saddle. He rode him last time out. He won on him, and he could be the main danger. Rodriguez and Blazing Light, there shouldn't be too much separating them for minor money.
Okay, so there's a bit of Shruti from Darrens Corner. Mr. Marie, on your side?
Yes, Clyde. Firstly, a form update for number 1, Rodriguez ran second, beaten half a length behind Cyber Time. Now, Clyde, if you have a look at the pace of the race, there is going to be pace on. There are a few that like to push forward. Izapa could be one of them. Last time out, we saw Porfirio go helter skelter up front, Blazing Light, and Josephine's Pride. But now, Clyde, this is my concern with Izapa. When he won in his penultimate start, he won despite pulling hard in the early stages. So I just hope he doesn't get into a scuffle up front and overdo it. If he settles, Clyde, I think he's a very nice sort. I mean, if you see him, he's a lovely son of soft falling rain. He could be the one to beat if he does settle, because I do believe he's better than a 75. But only the race will tell us that. Now, last time out, Banzai Pipeline won much easier than the margin suggests, and he only picked up a 1.5 kilogram penalty. Richard Fourie will know him better this time round because he's only ridden him once in a race before, and I think the race will be run to suit because, like I touched on, the pace should be on, and he'll be just behind the speed, tracking them. And if he just puts in a similar effort to his latest, I think he could go back to back. He was beaten a few runs back behind his Zappa, and there's not much separating the two of them, but that was with an apprentice in the irons, and now he's got Richard back aboard him. So just because I think the pace will be on and the race will be run to suit, I'm leaning towards Banzai Pipeline, but if Zappa settles, I think he could be very hard to beat.
Okay, so we've got to watch that carefully, see how that all goes with Izapa and Banzai Pipeline. Let's go. We got selections from both Darren Burrows and Daryl Marie here. So we'll start with Darren Burrows. He says Izapa in this race. He's going with number 3, Izapa as the one to go for. And a straight up win is a recommendation here from Darren's Corner. And then Daryl Marie's worked one for us as well. We'll take a look and see what he recommends for us to go ahead. Remember, we've got races 6, 7, 8, and he's got a pick 3 up on screen at the moment. That's the pick 3, the last 3 races at Hollywood Bets Greyville.